bringing it to them all day. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Win or lose, we bringing it to you always. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Orange or black, we rebuild the pack. No matter where we at, you know we coming back. Section 336, we on this, so tune in. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Yeah, welcome to Birdland. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Now, here come the boys from Section 336.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Baltimore sports fans of all ages, welcome to Section 336, Next Generation of Baltimore Sports Talk. I am your endearingly stunning host, Matt Soroka. As always, I'm joined by the button lover, Josh Soroka.
Hey, Matt. It's been a quiet week of Orioles news.
Josh, I almost fell out of my chair right before this podcast.
Why?
Because I sat down to do some prep.
Okay.
So I was like, I do what I do. I Google Orioles.
Yeah.
There's nothing really.
No, there's the Birdland Caravan. And we can talk about that if you want.
Well, and that didn't show up on any of the news things.
Okay.
There was some stuff about Brian Mattis.
That's just sad stuff to talk about.
Yeah, there was stuff about young Orioles star poised for a breakout year.
Okay.
I guess who that article was about?
Jackson Holiday.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
And that was kind of it. So then I was like, I scrolled, and then I went on Twitter. Like, what is there something on Twitter maybe?
Yeah.
And then I just checked like my podcast. Like, are other people coming out with Orioles content?
Did you find my new podcast?
And that's when I almost fell off my chair, Josh.
Yes.
That you did, and I had to listen to it on like 2 times speed right before we got on. I listened to
I've done
half of it.
Multiple podcasts?
How did you do 25 minutes of nothing, when there's nothing to talk about? You literally talked about the Orioles by yourself for 25 minutes today. What the heck, Josh?
What was today? Oh, well, I broke down the Birdland Caravan.
You did Birdland Caravan, and you talked about potential start rotations.
I think the idea of staying pat, I think people hate that argument with the rotation, and we can talk that out here. Right. So I kind of broke down that angle. Oh, trust me, tomorrow on Birdland Today, it's talking about contract extensions, because there was a rumor going around that I saw on Twitter, people talking that Adley would get a contract extension before opening day. And not only do I think that will not happen, I think that is not a great move to make.
Okay.
So tomorrow's show is about that.
I look forward to 30 minutes about
it is
Adley
tomorrow's
is TikTok and girlfriend. I look forward
tomorrow's
to that.
Is 12 minutes long. I do not mention TikTok or the girlfriend.
Okay.
I probably mentioned him gaining some weight. That may have came in.
Have you seen any off-season workouts from Adley Rutschman?
I have not. I did see today one news. Let's get all the Orioles news out of the way in the first 3 minutes. Pitchers and catchers. It was announced
the next
today.
57 minutes. Okay, go ahead.
Pitchers and catchers will report on February 13th.
Oh, is that news?
Or 12th, and they'll first work out on the 13th. Okay. That was news today.
So I feel like last offseason, there was more Jackson Holiday workout videos. There was some Adley Rutschman in the snow workout videos. I feel like we're getting less workout videos this year. Probably because they're not working out, I assume.
Right. Yeah. They're all just sitting around playing video games and eating Chick-fil-A. Yeah. No, I'll tell you what. I started my Birdland Today show.
I think you're insane for it, but okay.
What, to
doing
do
an
daily
episode
talk?
every day?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it's part of. I am a full-time podcaster now, right. So I need other sources of income and other shows. So I have time that I can actually write out a script and write out a planned talk for an Orioles podcast every day. So I do it in the afternoon. Now I did tell
you do you read a script? Do you write it out and just read it?
I write it out.
Okay.
I write it out and I read a teleprompter.
Oh my! This guy, for this little 20-minute, little everyday daily podcast that is just a little bonus add-on for Josh. He spends more time and effort on this little thing than he does for a year of Section 336.
It does.
That's
good
to hear.
I'll tell you what, the 15-20 minutes takes a whole lot more work.
What kind of prep did you do before this episode?
Well, I looked up I looked up Adley and Gunner, and if you want to talk extensions, I got all their numbers down.
Right. But not for me. You did that for your Birdland Sports episode.
Oh,
you
yeah.
Do that for me.
There's no need to prep for this show.
All right.
This show is about you and I talking and hanging out. I had a meeting today with a podcast rep, and I was talking to him about different shows.
Podcast rep. What does that mean?
Yeah, like
you represent
network.
other podcasts.
Yeah, like a network.
Okay.
A network, and they're interested. Want to bring on other shows.
Okay.
And they were interested in 336.
Oh, do you tell them to stick it?
Kinda.
Okay, I like that.
I told him, yeah, we kind of do our own thing, but I was telling him that
before, yeah.
But what he likes about this show is that it's just us hanging out, like friends, like brothers, talking Orioles, and that's what I like about this show is the passion is here. Well, at Birdland today, I have a nice scripted. I have to script it because I'm talking to no one.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. It's 25 minutes this morning of no news, but you talking. I couldn't believe it. I fell off.
Oh, there was news. there was news. There was Birdland Caravan.
Okay.
Fine. But yes, and Birdland today will get a whole lot easier for me once the season starts because then it'll be game by game breakdown.
Okay. You do post game shows?
What?
Post game shows?
Yeah, basically. I don't know if I'll go live. I'll go live occasionally post game shows, but the morning podcast is basically going to be let's talk about last night's game.
Oh man, so you're trying to go head to head with Locked On Orioles? What's his name?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You got my vote, Josh.
Well, I hope that everyone that listens to 336 will also go subscribe to Birdland today. Even if you just download it and delete it every day, at least subscribe and help me out.
Yeah. Well, and it's not an hour long listen.
No, it's
a 30-minute listen.
There's
this guy I listened to too.
The goal is 15 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I do that literacy podcast, and I always try it for 40 minutes, and I always end up an hour and 10 minutes. I gotta get better at that.
Right.
But because there's this podcast I listen to all the time called Deep Questions.
Yeah.
And he's all about it's Cal Newport, who's written a bunch of books, and I've read his books, and I really like him. But he's all about like being efficient with your time and like figuring out in this kind of technology heavy world how to get the most productive, how to be the most productive you can be. And it's really good stuff. But like each podcast is like 2 hours. And I was like, dude, how can I be my most productive self when you're droning on for 2 hours twice a week? Like, come on, dude. Well, you need to be more efficient with the time on this podcast.
Yeah, I'll tell you. And that's part of it is I am a full-time podcaster now. So I was like, I need to launch my own podcast. I've got time in the afternoon. I can work on this. But the only topic I know is the Orioles. What else am I going to do a podcast talking by myself about?
Audio-visual stuff, Josh, right?
Yeah, but I'm not going to sit here for 25 minutes. How boring would a podcast be for me sitting here for 20 minutes talking about programming your lighting system or your smart home?
I don't 60 know minutes about literacy, which is just as exciting.
But you're talking to someone else.
Yeah, I do have guests.
You don't do it by yourself. Yeah, so maybe down the road, I will launch a tech podcast because I know that stuff inside and out.
Yeah,
but
you probably have a bunch of connections at this point too.
I do. But to start, I needed to get something under my belt that was just me, and I needed the scripted format to see how I could do. So that's what Birdland today is, and I think it's going all right for the first couple of days.
All right, call me in mid-February, and we'll see how we're doing. When there's no news, because I'll make a prediction right here. Talk Orioles. Yes. I'll make a prediction that there is no news between now and when did you say spring training? February 14th.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no news.
No. Well, here's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start previewing and talking about some players and taking 3 to 4 players and talk about them each day.
Okay.
So that'll get me through 10 days.
Maybe that'll the hospital they were born in, where they went to elementary school, who their first crush was.
Maybe we will do a whole
do a deep dive
takedown on the Wikipedia of Jackson Holiday.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we're going to do. So tune in if you're interested and want to learn more about the Orioles, or if you've got off-season topics, tune in. I am not worried about the next month. I can fill the next month. Then we get spring training. I can fill that. Then we get the baseball season. That's going to be easy. What I'm concerned about is November of December of next year.
Okay. I think you should worry about getting through January 1st, but all right.
I know. I'm just saying, I think I have a good plan to, I wrote down a whole bunch of topics that I can get through for the next month.
All right, more power to you. I'm a subscriber now. I subscribe, so.
Well, thank you.
But what automatically, it automatically showed up, I guess, from.
Yes, if you subscribed to Birdland Tonight and still had that in your feed from years ago, I just hijacked that feed so I'd have something to start with.
All right. I look forward to you one day hijacking this feed too. So
not yet.
Yeah,
I hope that you and I do this a long, long time.
I'm not going anywhere.
I think we're 12 years in.
Yeah, maybe when they win the World Series, we can retire.
We at least now we do occasionally take a week off. Yeah. We went over 10 years without missing a week.
It's true. Life has gotten crazy. I have this schedule now where I teach some more evening classes, so I'm a little bit freer during the day, like you.
Okay.
And I've tried, Josh. I can't do it. I tried today.
Yeah.
I try at least in the mornings to work from home because no one's here. All my kids are at school
until
12:30. But Emily's still here, and it's just I'm not comfortable. I can't get comfortable. I work. We don't have a big house, so I'm at the dining room table. She'll be floating around the kitchen, and she's not bothering me. We both leave each other alone. She does her thing, I do my thing. But I just feel constrained. I feel like I can't. Like it's do you ever get that at home? I feel kind of suffocated.
Yes. Well, I have a different issue now. I've really adjusted to working from home. I've been working from home.
Well, maybe you have a nice office, nice setup too.
I have an office that's dedicated to me. That helps. I've been working full-time podcasting since May. So I've got a good rhythm of this. What I'll tell you, I have a different problem now where I need reasons to leave the house.
Oh.
So I am
because you can go. How long can you go without leaving the house? Probably indefinitely. You have no reason to leave the house.
Yeah, we travel and stuff, but I have no reason to leave the house.
Yeah.
So I did today sign up for a gym, and I'm going to start going to the gym every day to get out of the house.
So
you should have
wait 2 more weeks, and then the gyms will be empty, as they say.
I know. Well, Kelly and I tried out a new gym this evening, and I'll tell you, I'm not going to sign up for it because they were charging way too much money. So instead, I just signed up for Planet Fitness because they're a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
But I tried out tonight. We tried out. I'm blanking. Hot Works. Do you know what Hot Works is?
I don't. Is this part of Planet Fitness?
No, it's its own little gym. It's like $100 a month or something ridiculous.
Okay. I thought this was like the Red Room at Planet Fitness. Okay.
I went and did a cycling class at Hot Works today. It is a gym where you do all your workouts inside of a sauna.
Oh, like hot yoga type stuff.
Like hot yoga, but I did a cycling class.
Okay.
So it was a really good workout, except for they charge way too much money.
To get hot. Like you can just crank the heat up in your house and ride a bike.
Right, exactly. But I find I've got gym equipment at the house. I've got a bike at the house.
Yeah, you're just trying to meet people.
I need to get out of the house and away from all these computers in order to actually focus and work. So I will start my rhythm of Planet Fitness tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is the plan.
All right. Good luck with that as well. But the
problem is you can't work from home.
Yeah. I can't work from home, but I do find myself, I get more work done when I'm at home. I do.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I'm at work. I haven't mastered the art. Like someone will come in, and it happens all the time. Will come in and say, just for like one thing, they'll come into my office and say, "Hey, so and so student," or "What's your schedule now?" And then it would be okay, and I'll answer it, and then they linger, and I haven't mastered the ability of cutting them off and getting them out of my office. So like a 2-minute thing turns into 15 minutes, which is okay, but then that happens like 4 times. That's like an hour. I'm not antisocial. I like my colleagues, but it's just I spend a lot of time just in small talk, and I find it really irritating now. So I actually think I'm more productive at home because there's too many people to interact with at work. But you would not understand that. So
no, and I am more productive at home because I have my office, Kelly has her office, and we're on different sides of the house. Yeah. So we stay away.
Yeah, that's my problem. Maybe if I could find a way to have Emily.
You need like a she shed for yourself.
Yeah, maybe a cubicle. I build my own little cubicle around my dining room table. So I feel like I'm in a cubicle. I put a little picture up there of the kids and family, make it feel like I'm at the office.
Right, exactly. Build your own office. An office in your home does make a huge difference for being able to work at home.
Yeah, it does. I think it does. Josh, can we talk about we do have some Caravan, I guess, news to get to. But can we talk about the Ravens real quick? That was about as dominant of a half. I think in the history of Ravens football.
Yeah. That first half.
What
was it? 300 yards put up? Or no, 200 yards the first half?
30 yards where they had. It was ridiculous.
Completely. Yes.
And I said the one thing I was concerned about, if you recall, I was like, I just don't want the coaches to mess this up. Like how we played the Chiefs last year and they decided to run the ball 3 times and throw it 50 times. And they ran a whole drive, 13 straight runs. So they embraced the run, which I appreciate.
Well, and they embraced Lamar running and designed plays for Lamar to keep the ball, which we hadn't seen much this season.
Well, it was that read option. And those stupid Steelers were like, we're going to take away Derrick Henry. So they would dive at Derrick Henry every time.
Yep.
Leaving Lamar Jackson open and fine. Pick your poison. So I'm really curious to see how the Bills respond to that read option if they do what the Steelers do. Because I think the Ravens are correct. Like, it's the playoffs. And Lamar Jackson, I'm sure Lamar Jackson's mom is involved in play calling too, are like, okay, it's the playoffs. Let's run the ball. And Lamar Jackson can run. I understand protect him during the regular season. But the playoffs, let's go.
Yeah.
So,
and now, and it's interesting. I don't think it matches up well for the Bills. I think it's a good matchup for the Ravens. If the only way to stop that read option is you got to send 2 guys in, 1 to target each, but you do that, you're going to have a wide receiver open or a tight end open.
Right.
So it's a tough package to block.
Is Zay Flowers going to be back for this game? Do we know?
I think so. I haven't seen anything, but
I love this matchup so much, and I feel like maybe this says something about me as a Ravens fan that I was rooting for the Bills to win just because I know the easier matchup would have been if the Bills lost. I think then we would play the Texans and we just destroyed the Texans. They're not a very good football team. And the Bills are, and this is a great matchup. And it's going to be a much tougher matchup. But just the idea, it's all year, Josh. It's been Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
Versus Josh Allen.
Yeah, MVP discussions.
Yeah, the MVP discussion. It's been who's the best team in the league. It's been there's been so much. It just sets up for a beautiful televised. I mean, this is the most anticipated game all year. Everything's been building towards it, and it just feels perfect. And a victory against the Bills will feel so much sweeter than a victory against the Texans.
I agree, except I don't know if the Texans can beat the Chiefs, and I would have liked to see the Bills-Chiefs matchup and knock one of them out. I don't like that we're going to have to go through the Bills and then through the Chiefs.
Okay, again, I would pull out the same argument. I mean,
your argument
knock
is
off
beat the
Josh
best.
Allen, then knock off Patrick Mahomes, then go to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's as good as it gets.
No, I get it. And then play the Redskins in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that would be ideal. I mean, at this point, there's no the Bills and the Chiefs scare me more than any.
Totally.
Team. I'm not scared by the Eagles. The Lions are beat up.
No, the AFC Championship game is going to be the Super Bowl. That's going to be the big game.
Yeah. Now, anything can happen week to week. Bad teams beat better teams all the time. But certainly, I think the AFC team will be favored. Whoever that AFC will be the favorite in the Super Bowl. I was surprised that the Bills are the favorite they were
3
points. It was weird, right? Josh. When I looked at it, if you bet the money line, the Ravens were like minus 115 or something.
Okay.
But the Bills were 1 point favorites.
Yes.
And they were also minus 105 at the money line. So it was just weird. It was like saying like they predicted the Bills had a better chance of winning of getting that point. No, I think the Ravens are +1, right? They're 1 point underdogs.
Yeah, it's yes.
At least that's what it was released at, which is kind of wild.
Right. Which means they could see the Bills winning by 1 point. Right. Which is why your money line is the way it is.
I don't think that's why it is, but isn't it surprising that the Bills are the favorite?
No, because
Ravens have been playing.
The game's in Buffalo, and the Bills have a better
+3 or whatever for the home team.
And the Bills have a better record as well.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the +3 for the home team. That's what's doing it.
Is it going to be snow? Do we know a weather forecast?
I have not seen yet. Yeah. Let's see.
It's going to be cold.
It'll definitely be cold, but it's been cold in Baltimore lately also.
Yeah. I think the Ravens can go play in the cold. But yeah, just it was a great win for Lamar too. All the haters can stop it, but I don't think they will stop it but if
of right now,
yeah,
cloudy skies and a high of 22 degrees.
It's a cold game.
Yeah, no call for snow at the moment.
Hey, M&T Stadium is rocking. How about that O? Good solid O.
We had the O's all week. There was a big O in Tampa during the start of the Commanders game as well.
Okay, I didn't listen to that one.
Yeah,
nice.
And then there was a big O at the Penn State game earlier in the week.
Okay, but the biggest O was the Ravens.
But the biggest, M&T they got the big O.
Yeah, good crowd. It's good.
Yeah.
All right, fine. That's it. I just wanted to. It's been a fun season.
I know we used to talk Ravens all the time. We haven't talked Ravens as much as we used to do this year.
Yeah,
but it's been a fun season.
I feel like this is the best team maybe we've ever had. You can go back to the Super Bowl runs for comparisons. Just different.
Definitely the best offense. This is a team led by offense, and the defense though. The defense has improved so much the past 5-6 games.
Yeah, they have. So you feel good about that, especially the emergence of our cornerbacks. Like I feel like last year people were talking about Marlon Humphrey is like maybe he's done and washed up and is overpaid, and now people are talking about potential defensive player of the year, Marlon Humphrey. Just how quickly people change their tunes, because mostly. I know everyone talks about the switch to free safety with Kyle Hamilton, but I feel like it's mostly the same kind of core guys there last year. Lose a couple pieces like Patrick Queen and you brought in, you drafted high for Wiggins, but yeah, so we're a good defensive team, and I think this is the best offensive team we ever had. Just the combination of Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson is so much fun. You talk about having kind of two-style running backs, if you talk about Justice Hill and Derrick Henry, but really it's the combination of having someone so quick and electric as Lamar Jackson combined with someone who's probably faster than Lamar Jackson in Derrick Henry, but also a lot stronger and can just run you over. It's just such a deadly combination that's so much fun to watch.
It's that second gear with Derrick Henry. Once he clears the line of scrimmage,
you blink, he's in
gone.
the secondary. Yeah. And then if it's a foot race between a secondary, he's going to beat you in a foot race, which is wild. And if you're in front of him, he's going to punch you in the face as he's running down.
Now, the Ravens blew out the Bills in week 4 in Baltimore.
Right.
But the Bills had a lot of injuries then or something, right?
Yeah, I feel like the Bills and the Ravens are just really different teams now. So
I think
I don't
so too.
put much stock in that comparison or in that result at all. I don't really buy that much at all. We're just different teams.
Exactly. It's like when the
Steelers beat us the first time. It's a different squad.
True.
It's a different people change. Just teams change so much, right, through the course of the season. I remember at the beginning of the season, we were concerned about, obviously, our defense just turned around. Even we were concerned about our offensive line. That seems to now be a strength of ours. It's just, things change over the course of the season. And that's why even when Justin Tucker was going through, and really Justin Tucker, that's another wild card because he hasn't really hadn't had opportunities to make big field goals yet.
So no, I'm glad. I'm glad he hasn't.
Yeah, hopefully that continues. But there was a point because we don't have a great record this season. It's not like we run through teams. But I always felt this season like this team is going to be good. It just felt like all the pieces were there, and they just had to kind of mesh, and they have. So it's a cool thing to watch. All right, we can talk about your Birdland Caravan now if you want.
I don't. The Birdland Caravan is just the Fan Fest replacement. I don't know. They did.
Looks like almost everything is sold out, Josh.
That's when I look too. The bowling stuff is sold out. Karaoke, I think, is 21 and over. The kids stuff is. It's just.
Kids stuff's. The Play Rookie Clinic, all that's sold out.
Yeah, it's all sold out. So suddenly,
even the rip and play. I don't know what you rip open cards and you play. I don't know what the play is.
All of this, it's all marketed as a chance to interact with the players, which is outstanding, but it's all sold out. At least at FanFest, like there was stuff to do. The players were on a stage in a huge room and you could watch.
Right. All these events are limited to, at the most, hundreds of people. Right.
Correct.
At the most, not thousands of people.
Right.
Whereas FanFest was thousands of people.
Right. And I get that they're saying, well, like the brewery there's up to 600 tickets available for the brewery.
Okay. Yeah. 600.
All right. But that's the biggest event. And I get they're saying, well, no, instead of one giant event for thousands of people, we do all these little events all over the place. But you're going to have the same people go in and drive into all the same events.
You think that's true?
To try to be the same 100, 200 people.
You think that's true?
No, I mean, it'll be different people.
Based on the area.
Right. The kids' rally is up to 800 spots.
Yeah, that's the only one that's not been sold out yet, right?
Right. But you got to buy these tickets. Karaoke.
The tickets are reasonable. They're not crazy.
No. Karaoke is 450 spots available. And if there's 450 people there, you're not going to be doing karaoke with Adley Rutschman. Like, I don't know how this works. Who's doing karaoke? Who's doing the mechanical? How do you take 450 people and have 6 Orioles there to greet them? Wow. And try to give everyone an experience? The only one, the bowling, sounds like a great event because it's limited to like 4 or 6 people per lane. And there's like 10 lanes. So you're talking like less than 100 people. But that one sold out instantly because it is great. The baseball clinic was 50 kids, sold out immediately. The rip and split thing was 200 spots, sold out instantly.
Yeah.
I also,
Judge, why they hate on the Eastern Shore? I don't see any Eastern Shore events.
No, I thought there was an Eastern Shore.
Was there an Eastern Shore? All right, I'll take it back. I didn't see any Eastern Shore.
I don't know. I know Severn High School had one. I thought I saw something about
no Queenstown, no
No,
Island.
maybe not. Pasadena. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe there is no Eastern Shore.
Okay, we like the Orioles over the Eastern Shore.
Yeah, it's not. FanFest wasn't perfect. FanFest at Camden Yards was pretty special, where you could get tours of the stadium and stuff, and go out on the field and go in the dugout.
What did they do recently where I got to meet Mike Elias? Where they had it at Camden Yards. It rained. It was cold.
And
they had.
That was last year with like a Birdland caravan. They did a Christmas caravan.
It was a Christmas thing. Yeah, no, this was last 2 years ago. It was right before I moved. So this was like 2020.
Yeah, they did a Christmas caravan. And I don't know. It's all.
No, the Camden Yards is kind of cool.
It's all fine. I'll tell you, one of my rants on Birdland Today last week. I did a few preview episodes, and I did one breaking out the promo schedule because that came out last week.
Right.
And my big complaint with that is that the Orioles have made Mr. Splash a mascot. And it's like, we've got the Oriole bird. We've got this great mascot. But instead, for the Birdland Caravan, they also have photos with Mr. Splash and photos with the ketchup, mustard, and relish hot dogs. And who cares about all those guys when we have the best mascot with the Baltimore Oriole? Where is the rest of the Oriole family? You know, Mother's Day, they would bring out like the Oriole bird mom. Or they used to, at least. Why not focus on that instead of Mr. Splash and the hot dogs?
Yeah. No, yeah. So you're not going to the meet and greet with ketchup, mustard, and relish?
Unfortunately, I will be out of town.
You're not flying back to Baltimore for that?
I will not be flying into town to see the hot dogs. No.
Yeah. Well, Josh, we're not the only person. How about this tweet that just came from the Braves? It didn't just come. It came last month from the Braves. It says, our annual Brave Fest that we traditionally host in January is one of our favorite events of the year. We always enjoy providing our fans with fun, unique opportunities to meet and engage with Braves players and coaches. After much thought and discussion, we have made the decision to not host Brave Fest for 2025. Now, their reason is they cite construction happening at Truist Park.
Okay.
And at the Battery.
But I'm okay.
As they get ready for the All-Star game.
That's fine. That's a decent reason. At least they didn't just go away. At least it didn't go away.
Yeah, I think it'll be back in 2026. Sounds like it's just a 1 year.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a 1 year. Hey, we got to clean this up. And you know what? Hey, Orioles, cancel everything this offseason if you need to go ahead and fix the sound system in the Jumbotron at Camden Yards.
There's plans, Josh, in the works. 2029.
Yeah,
they're going to address
it. I think it's 2026. I think it is sooner. But it's ridiculous that it's not 2025, and instead we're moving that wall again. We could have easily moved the wall and upgraded the sound system at the same time, because you call the low voltage company for the sound system, you call the electronics company for the Jumbotron, and the construction guys for the wall. They're three different things. Just like when you build a house, different trades come in.
How come they haven't done the sound? Is it a money issue or is it a timing issue?
I don't know what's taken so long for them to do it. I know the money got all approved. Yeah. And I guess it's maybe they have to come up with renderings and approvals process to get it done. I don't know why this would not have been the top number one thing to do.
It sounds like you could handle one off season. Yeah.
It sounds like
weird.
Yeah, it sounds like rendering should have been shown during the season last year, and they get to work in November.
Is it because when you do the audio, you also want to do a lot of stuff with the screenage? Like, aren't they? I assume they're going to update the screens and.
Yeah, but you can. That's what I'm saying. You can do all that in one off season,
right? But is that going to be tied to
changes
in the stands? For example, having a standing room up in left field, maybe want to add a screen up there with the sound system.
Well, I think you could expand.
Does it make sense to do it one time?
No, sound systems you can expand, and I think they're trying to figure out. And it could be they're trying to figure out: do we move the Jumbotron someplace else? How do we get a bigger Jumbotron, not completely block out the skyline? And how do we make it look good when we get rid of those left field seats or something?
You mean we don't want to block the Hilton?
Right.
Yeah.
I still think you can do something cool with some laser projection on the warehouse, where they've done it for special events. But I think technology is up to the point where you could do full-time laser projection on the warehouse, where we're not hanging stuff on the warehouse, but just projecting some stuff on.
No, I think that's a good idea.
So I think I hope they do that when they upgrade the video board. Like, let's see some hype up the crowd videos with the Oriole bird on the warehouse instead of just the peeking into the next Jumbotron.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's a good suggestion. We've gone down this road and offered lots of suggestions.
Orioles, call me. I've got lots of suggestions for Camden Yards, even though it's my favorite place in the world.
Yeah. Well, that's why we have suggestions, right? Because it's our favorite place. We spend a lot of time there.
This morning on the Mike O'Mara show, we had the head coach of the Savannah Bananas on the show. And this year, the Savannah Bananas play in Camden Yards.
Oh, cool.
Which is pretty cool. They've done Boston and Fenway, but now they're pretty excited to play Camden.
Yeah, that's cool. Good for them. All right, so you won't be flying up for any Birdland Caravan events?
Nope. Maybe opening day.
Yeah, I don't, and they say real specifically no autographs at any of these places too.
Which is, again,
it's fine.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Silas got his first autograph from Ryan McKenna at the Annapolis Birdland Caravan when they first did it, the Birdland Caravan event with Ryan McKenna, and that was kind of a cool event. It was, It doesn't was not limited to people, and you didn't need tickets. You just, because it was downtown Annapolis, you just showed up, and it was chill. They had Trey Mancini, Ryan McKenna, I think Mike Bordick was there, and they were giving away some Orioles stuff. They had some games. Like, it's not hard to do. I feel like you just set the place up.
I went and took my picture with Dan Duquette at a Buffalo Wild Wings event.
Yeah.
Where he was just there speaking.
Yeah.
So you can make things that are accessible without this silly caravan.
Yeah. Jackson Holiday's running the bar at Guinness. Is he old enough to drink to pour beers? He's going to do an ID check. I think he just turned 21.
Is he just serving water?
Yeah, I think he just turned 21 in December, so maybe he checks out. It sounds like the people who are participating is very limited too. Sounds like there's like 10 players, right? And that's it.
Yeah, I didn't see a single event.
A lot of repeated guys.
Yes, and it's like where FanFest used to be. They bring all the Orioles to town, and like for a lot, Remember, FanFest used to be we'd get the press pass, and it was for reporters. It was like the first time they'd get to talk to some of these players all off season.
Yeah. Should I be concerned that I haven't seen Corbin Burns' name mentioned at any of the FanFest events? Is that a sign?
I haven't seen Roki Sasaki either on any of these.
Yeah. What about Santander?
Yeah, exactly.
Either. Oh.
Can we talk about Santander?
Yeah, I don't understand. This happens every year, but I don't understand it every year. How good players go so long without being signed.
No, and we have Santander,
we have Pete Alonso out there,
out
Alex Bregman, of course, there are Santander, Jack Flair. Like there's players who are going to be kind of good players on good teams, and they're still unsigned.
Right.
I don't really understand it. Like what are teams waiting for? What are players waiting for? Like what is the holdup at this point?
It's like it's a game of chicken based on the price tag is all I can assume. But my question with Anthony is, do you see a spot for him back on the Orioles?
Well, it's like, people ask, well, if you can get Santander on a 1 year prove it year or a 2 or 3 year deal, would you do it? And Santander sounds a lot more appealing to me on a 1 or 2 year deal.
Well, yeah, a 1 year prove it deal. I'm open to that.
Right. But Josh, that sounds more appealing, but that also sounds more appealing to probably 20 other teams, right?
Yes.
Like, I don't think it's like, oh, well, now Santander is willing to take a 2 year deal.
Well,
and so that now means the Orioles can resign. No, that means probably a whole bunch of other teams are now interested in signing.
And a 3, 4, 5 year deal with Santander, I'm not interested in. Right. I'm okay with moving on from that.
We have different long-term plans. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And
I agree.
And I
He's
see
like
the
a
fan
1 year
base
deal kind of guy for me.
And I see Oriole fans that are mad that Anthony's not back. When it's like I look at the numbers and we did a good job replacing him and a good job projecting for the future. It's okay for there to be changeover.
Yeah. Anytime someone really wants to say that they're mad that we're not re-signing Santander, all I hear is you don't know or you hate Heston Kjerstad. That's all I hear, because Heston Kjerstad is going to be getting a bunch of Santander's at bats.
Yes, and who's the other guy we signed that's going to get the splits?
Well, Tyler O'Neill.
Right-handed side. Yeah. And Tyler O'Neill's stats are really close. They're similar stats.
Okay, but how about this, Josh? Right now on the 40-man, we only have 5 outfielders, and one of them I don't think really counts. So we're left only really with 4 outfielders on the roster.
Who are you not counting?
Dad's Cameron.
All right, yeah, he doesn't count.
And then you have Cowser, Kjerstad, Mullins, and O'Neill.
Yes,
that's the list.
Yeah.
So if you want it and in terms of depth, Enrique Bradfield Jr. is down there, but he's not knocking on the door. There's no one at AAA that's knocking on the door the way that Heston Kjerstad and Kobe Mayo were knocking on the door. So if you want to make this argument about depth and you want another strong outfielder out there, you could argue that. But still, Cowser, Kjerstad, Mullins, O'Neill, assuming no one gets hurt, I feel good about those guys.
I feel good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Santander's that's not the type of money you're going to spend for depth unless he goes on one of those prove-it deals.
Right. And this is why I think the Orioles are done. Kind of a large discussion why I think the Orioles are done. At this point, the 40-man, Josh, it's actually crowded. And you can take issue with the lack of quality in the starting pitching. But, we added, 3 guys? 2, 3 guys?
Well, we added Eflin mid-season.
Yeah, if you count Eflin.
If you count Eflin, then you've got Segona.
Yeah, we added him in the offseason.
And we added Morton.
Yeah, so that's 2 guys added to our start. And we lost, I know when everyone said,
we lost Burns.
We lost Burns, but we added 2 guys
to
replace 1 guy. So I'm not saying the quality equals, even those 2 guys combined, equals what we lost with Burns. But I'm saying just a numbers game here.
As far as getting through innings,
we're full.
Yeah, and we have a rotation that can get us through innings, and we have these 2 guys sitting out there injured on Bradish and Wells, which if we get them back in July, like timetables say, that's like getting a trade move without trading anyone.
Yeah, and if you're Chase McDermott, maybe you kind of had your debut last year and you thought you're set up for a chance this year. There's not going to be room for Chase McDermott.
Oh,
I don't think there's room for Cade Povich, who had, I think, had a pretty decent year last year.
Cade Povich is the guy that I think maybe we go to a 6-man and Cade Povich gets in this.
Yeah, because you may not love the option, but there's 6, 7, 8 guys, 40-man who can start, and then our bullpen is full too now. I don't know. Did we talk about the Andrew Kittredge signing? I think we talked about it here already. But that adds another bullpen arm, and I think our bullpen is pretty.
I don't think we've talked about Kittredge. Maybe we did, but no, the Kittredge signing is awesome because it shortens games.
Yeah. I mean, just look at his numbers. I mean, and we saw him a lot against Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Last
year he was with St. Louis, but I mean his numbers are just last year with St. Louis, 2.80 ERA, pitched in 74 games. So that showed how highly that they thought of him. Only gave up 60 hits in those 74 games. So that's impressive, and had 67 strikeouts. So yeah, he has been consistently good for a long time.
Yeah. And I don't know if we talked last week about Hoffman and the failed physical with the Orioles, because people love to hype on the Orioles fail physicals and then other teams sign players. And
we did it. And I think Jeff Hoffman would have been a great addition again to the back of the rotation.
Yeah.
And it seems like when that fell through, then we switched to Kittredge.
Yeah. I don't believe we would have had both.
I agree.
And I love that Hoffman also failed the Braves physical.
He did. He failed the Braves physical.
Because that then makes it more legitimate, and it's not just the Orioles being the Orioles.
Yeah, well,
but it's also going to be
failed physical. I mean, you have to go back to the old regime with Dan Duquette, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. How much of that staff who failed the physical there is still here? Even
I think we fired all of our training staff last year.
Yeah. Well, and Mike Elias cleaned house, I think, pretty good too when he came.
Yeah, true. But the only pitcher out there that I think the Orioles may sign still is, I think they may do a short-term deal with John Means. Just because that's
even they won't be able to pitch the first half of the season.
And I don't even think they need to sign him until later in the season, till after the season starts. They don't need to sign him now. I think he'll be out there, and they could sign him early in the season, maybe during spring training, and tuck him away and kind of see what he can do once he's healthy.
Yeah.
Because he's coming off injury 2 years in a row. He's not going to cost anything.
Well,
and it's one of those things where you know the guy.
Yeah, and maybe if you're John Means and you're coming back from injury, it just might make more sense for you to go back with an organization that you're familiar with.
Yeah, the doctors and trainers that know you.
Recovery there with them before. Yeah. Now, if John Means did not have a great experience, if he got re-injured, he's not happy about it.
Exactly. If he blames the re-injury on the Orioles, then see ya.
Yeah, or the only other chance is if there's another team that is willing to kind of say, okay, we're taking a flyer on you and give them a little bit more money.
Correct. But I think that's the only pitcher out there the Orioles might sign. Someone's going to get cut in the first week of spring training, and Mike Elias will sign them and pick them up off waivers. Mike Elias loves watching the waiver line. Yeah. So someone we might grab there, but no one of note.
Yeah. You know what's interesting, too? I was thinking about this rotation, and it seems like, Josh, and I don't know if this is an intentional strategy, but Kittredge throws pretty hard, like 95. Certainly Bautista and Cano throw really hard. So we have a lot of, and I know like baseball has gone this way to have a lot of hard throwing bullpen pieces, but it just seems like for us, we have a lot of soft tossing starting pitchers. Right,
like
we signed two.
You lull them in. Saguna
and Martin are both soft tossing, kind of older veterans who don't throw very hard. So for 5-6 innings, you're seeing 88 miles per hour,
right?
And then boom, there's 97.
You're hitting little grounders and stuff. You're hitting little infield grounders, trying to make contact, and then that makes that 100 mile per hour look like 150.
Exactly. I think there could be something there to that. The differential between starting and bullpen velocity.
We've seen it in the past. I love the idea. we normally see it the other way, where we get the hard throwing starter and then then it switched to a changeup guy after, or a slider coming in after. We've seen that mix up before. I love it. I love it going in that direction of, as you're getting tired, the ball's coming harder.
Yeah. The other thing I just wanted to mention to support your argument before that, I think kind of we're done. There was an article by Rocco Bacco this past week on January 11th, a couple of days ago. The title of which, the title of the article was one of the, I think one of the dumber titles. It's a quote by Elias saying, "We're going to stay in the mode of looking for ways to upgrade the team." And so the quote at the title hints at this team is still looking to upgrade the team. But if you read all the quotes, it's like the first quote from Mike Elias is, "We like the strength of our team right now."
Yeah.
And then he goes on about how he loves the defense, he loves the offense, he loves the addition of Tyler O'Neill and Gary Sanchez. The quote ends by saying, "So we think it's a very strong group that's going to have us very competitive in the American League East." And then after that, he says, "I think the bullpen is also going to be a big strength of the team." And so he just talks about how much he likes his team as it is now.
Yes.
And then he mentions that.
Well, that quote is about the waiver wire.
Well, he also says he's also says we're going to be remaining. He says we're very fortunate to be in the spot where we can examine opportunities as they come up. So we're staying in contact with everyone, and we're open for business and fluid, and that could come in a number of shapes and sizes, if at all. So he seems to be saying there waiver wire or trades. He's still open to the possibility.
Or cotton uniforms.
Right, or cotton uniforms, whatever. Any way to get better. But he ends the quote by saying, the kind of article ends with a quote by Elias saying this. He says, "You count up the number, and we're only allowed to have 13 pitchers, and we're extremely likely to carry all 13. So it's going to be 13 position players, and we have more than 13 guys that are talented enough to be on the opening day team."
That's true.
We're definitely not in need of more position players from a numbers standpoint. But then he says, "But in my job at this time of the offseason, I never want to rule out the possibility of trades or things like that could alter the landscape of our team." But that doesn't sound like a guy for me. That comes across to me as he's good. Now, obviously, he'll continue to listen, and if something Dylan Cease comes available or something, he'll listen. But it sounds to me like he's happy with where the team is at. And so I think no more moves.
I think I agree with you. No more moves.
And so
Gary Sanchez
the article made it sound like they're looking to upgrade the team still, but that's not the impression I got from reading all the quotes. It's like we're good. Now we're still we'll listen, of course, because we're not idiots, but we're good.
Right. Now we'll upgrade the team by a new weight bench in the weight room.
Yeah.
Or a new foosball table, whatever the boys are into.
Yeah, and you mentioned the 13 position players, and we'll get into it. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, but there will be tough decisions to be made in terms of that 40-man roster for the Orioles.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you assume, we've talked about it here about Kobe Mayo is a big example of where he fits, right? In a world where he plays third base and first base, in a world where we have Ryan Mountcastle and O'Hearn locking down first base, where does Kobe Mayo fit?
Well, yeah, and you mentioned we only had 5 outfielders on the 40-man. We've got 9 infielders on the 40-man.
Well, you assume Jackson Holliday will be your everyday second baseman. You assume Gunnar will be everyday shortstop. You assume Westberg will be everyday third baseman.
Yep.
And so where does that leave Mayo and Mateo and Arias? Like these are all still signing on the team.
Yeah. O'Hearn. Right. They can't all fit on your bench. So it'll be interesting.
Right. So, and that's without bringing anybody else in. And so that's another reason why I think we're done. And it's a similar discussion happening with the pitchers. Like there's too many starting pitchers. Again, we can take issue, and I take issue with the quality of starting pitchers, but in terms of a numbers game, like there are more starting pitchers who want to be and think they deserve a starting pitching spot than we have starting pitchers.
Povich, Suarez, to name 2, McDermott.
Yeah, I'm sure Trevor Rogers. I know,
Trevor Rogers.
He's still with a shot.
Yeah, you're right. No, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Is Mateo going to be ready by spring training?
I think so, but I don't know that for a fact.
I wonder if they work Mateo more towards the outfield.
Well, we talk about that every year. I mean, last year,
I know we
got
do.
like a spring training game in center field.
Yeah, and I think he might have gotten a regular season game in the outfield as well.
Yes.
So, but when you mention, when we look at it and we're like, well, Des Cameron really isn't going to make this team. Maybe Mateo, you lean towards that outfield slot.
Yeah, I think Cameron is a depth piece.
Yes. A depth piece in Bowie or in Norfolk.
Yeah, Norfolk. Yeah. So yeah, because, but I mean, if Mateo doesn't play the off, I mean, he's going to be.
Mateo will be on the bench.
He's a bench guy.
He's a bench guy, and you're not going to you're not sending him to Norfolk because you need his speed.
Right.
And
but
his
the
defense.
guy, but his best defensive position is shortstop, which happens to be played by your best player, who will have very few off days.
Yeah, from the player who ranks fourth in all of baseball for WAR.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to defensively at second base either.
Right, defensively, Gunnar is 21 in all of baseball in WAR as well.
In terms of shortstops,
at shortstop. Yeah.
21st out of 30 shortstops?
No, 21st out of all position players defensively.
And that, Josh, that right there is why I don't believe any defensive WAR metrics.
Because they're comparing shortstops to first basemen?
Yeah, well, that, and because he'll obviously always have better numbers than a first baseman, right? You're not going to find any first baseman or left fielders in top 5 in WAR. But also because I don't think Gunnar Henderson had a great year last year defensively.
No, he had a lot
of terrible throws.
He did. He had a lot of errors.
Right. And he made some great plays, but he also missed on some routine plays. And so I thought he had a below average kind of what he's capable of in terms of defensive wise. And so that's why I don't all those metrics and those defensive numbers always seem fishy to me.
I totally understand. Makes sense to me.
All right. It makes sense that I question the numbers. It makes sense that the defensive metrics make sense to you.
Defensive metrics are odd. Number one defensive WAR leader in Major League Baseball is Dalton Varsho, a center fielder.
Yeah.
And it's okay, center field's going to play the ball differently than
you get a lot more action.
Gunnar.
Yeah. And sometimes you'll have like Austin Hayes. I feel like he one year would be one of the best, the next year would be one of the worst.
Yeah.
I don't think he really changed all that much.
Well, if Gunnar is number 21, where would you put Bobby Witt Jr.?
Oh, I don't watch. I mean, based on what I've seen, Bobby Witt Jr. is an elite defender, has a great arm. I would put him 10.
33.
Oh, really? So that's surprising. Yeah. But I don't know. I didn't watch Bobby Witt Jr. every day. Like I watch Gunnar every day.
Exactly.
So
it's WAR is an odd metric. I get that.
Yeah.
Especially
who do you think is a better defensive shortstop? Jorge Mateo or Gunnar Henderson?
Gunnar Henderson?
You think he's better than Jorge Mateo defensively?
Defensively, I believe so.
All right. I don't care what your little stats say because, well, maybe if you look at compared two years ago with Jorge Mateo.
Jorge Mateo.
He was an everyday shortstop. Look at him in like 2022 or something, or 2021.
All right, let's see. Baseball Savant.
And look at his numbers compared, because don't sleep on Jorge Mateo as a really good defensive player.
Where is defense?
And I'm asking you to look at the numbers to see who's better after I just said I don't believe in these numbers at all. So
exactly.
But I just feel like if you look at, I don't know, 2022 when he was an everyday shortstop, I mean, even look at the last couple of years, I just think the numbers would be skewed because he didn't play as much. But I feel like he was an above average defender.
I believe he was. He was Gold Glove a few years ago.
I don't know if he ever won a Gold Glove. Did he win a Gold? I don't think he ever won a Gold Glove.
Okay.
Ramon Arias won a Gold Glove.
Then maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but and I would say if you ask me who's a better defender, I would say like the upside defensive for Gunnar is probably bigger than Mateo.
Yeah. But, yes. Gunnar's. Yeah.
Mateo, I think, has a better track record and it's been more consistent.
Mateo's had a defensive WAR of 2.3 in 2022.
Okay, when he was an everyday shortstop.
Yeah, and Gunner's defensive WAR last year was the defensive. Go back to my.
So 2 point. I don't even know what that means. I
2.1
guess
WAR, and Gunner's defensive WAR is 1.5.
Okay.
So yes, Mateo had a better defensive high.
Never mind. I now believe all the defensive metric numbers.
Right, because it passed the eye test.
Yes, because that's because I thought Mateo was elite defender 2022.
Right, and that was the year he got robbed of the Gold Glove.
Probably. And Ramon Arias got it. Yeah. Well, no, that's third base, but yeah, who got it over Mateo? Probably. I mean, those Gold Gloves again because we just talked about it, like the defensive metrics are so hard to, I don't know, to figure out. How do you figure out Gold Glove?
Jeremy Pena for the Astros.
Okay, yeah. So Jorge Mateo probably did get robbed. I'm not buying that Jeremy Pena is a better shortstop than Jorge Mateo.
And that is the year Urias got it.
Right, at third base.
Yes.
Yeah, but the Gold Glove that's a tricky one. I don't even hate on it because I think it's tricky to figure out. But like our boy Bobby Witt Jr. got the Gold Glove over Gunnar Henderson,
right,
this year.
Because it's the eye test. It's not stats. It's eye test and like nerd newspaper reporters. It's like the Josh Allen MVP discussion to bring it full circle.
Yeah. All right.
Did we cover enough this week?
Yeah, I think we covered enough. That also, if you watch the betting odds, the Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson betting odds have been wild too. That's a whole.
It was Josh Allen way up here, and now it's
on the last. Well, you know when it changed when Lamar Jackson made the last week of the season, they announced All Pro.
Yes, and he made that, and it's the same people that vote.
Exactly, same people for that vote. So like, it went from something stupid like plus
70 to 30,
Lamar, plus 500 Lamar to like Lamar being the favorite. It was kind of wild.
Yeah, yep.
And as who is that? Jay Baseball 7-7 in the chat. Juan Soto. Yeah, I remember Juan Soto was a finalist. Like, come on, man.
Right.
What are you doing out here? So it becomes complicated with eye test and name recognition and all other stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, Michael Elias went out of his way in that quote to say how much he likes this defense. And it does feel like O'Neill is probably a slight upgrade over Santander defensively.
Yes.
And you have Gunnar coming back. And yeah, the Westberg I think Westberg is an above average defender. I think Jackson Holliday has potential to be an above average second baseman. And Ryan Mountcastle, we've talked on here about how much he's improved as a defender. So yeah, I think we're defensively, I think we're pretty set.
And even and Westberg and Colton Cowser's stocks are rising as well, which is good to see from young guys.
Yeah, I mean, so much, Josh, of what went wrong last year and what has potential to go right this year is on those young guys, right? Like, can Jackson Holliday make that next step?
Yeah, can he just be a decent player?
Yeah, can Adley Rutschman return to form?
Yeah.
If you want to know more about that, listen to Birdland.
Right. Can Colton build? Can Westberg build on what they've been doing?
Yeah. So it's like because there's so many young players, it's like how much are you buying Orioles stock?
Right.
You could easily convince yourself that Jackson Holliday is still going to be one of the best young players in baseball, and you can easily convince yourself that Cows were good on last year, and you could easily create this argument where this top 5 offense in baseball.
Well, and I'll tell you my argument for Birdland today tomorrow is obviously Gunnar Henderson is who I will want to extend long term, but that's not going to happen because of Scott Boras.
Right.
And Adley, I'm not comfortable with giving Adley 7-8 years at this point. But I'd be really intrigued in taking some of that money and investing it into Jordan Westberg and Colton Cowser. Not for 10 years, but 5 years.
Yeah, I would be more comfortable with Jordan Westberg probably. I mean, even Josh, but even Adley Rutschman signing, and I don't want you to go and change your notes.
I'm not comfortable with 8 year. I've already recorded it.
Okay.
I am not comfortable with Adley at 8 years at this point.
Okay, but even though, so let's say not 8 years. That's pretty extreme. Let's say.
Well, that's the projections out there are Adley for 8 years, and I think it was Gunnar for 12 years.
Okay. Well, even Adley for 8 years, which is a little bit long, even for me. If you think about it. Yeah. But if you think about it, half of that time, he's already under contract.
Correct.
Like
so you're really right.
So you're really just extending it for 4 years.
Right.
Because he's going.
But what you're doing is you're also buying out all of the arbitration.
Right.
That's the
so
big
you
key.
Presumably get a cheaper number in the last 4. Because if he becomes a free agent, the price will double or whatever.
Right. Exactly. You pay more early to then last longer because you're skipping all that arbitration crap.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying I'd invest in these cheaper guys that you can buy out a little more rather than making a move on Adley at this point. Okay. And I think you have no shot at Gunnar because he is too good for Scott Boras to let him sign early.
Right. But Josh, to that logic, who then would be the most likely to sign an extension? I would argue if I'm a catcher or a pitcher, that might be the guy that's most likely. We're like, well, yeah. I mean, if Grayson Rodriguez, he's tweaked his, his side or whatever a couple of times. If I'm Grayson Rodriguez, I might be interested in buying out.
I think
to make sure I get my money.
Yes, I think Grayson Rodriguez. I think Kyle Bradish.
Yeah, Kyle Bradish too. He's a little closer to the free agency already.
He's closer. That's why he stands out to me as well.
Yeah. But like Jordan Westberg is probably outside of Jackson Holiday and Gunnar Henderson. He's probably the least motivated to sign an extension because he's improved each year. He's got
right. Oh, I know. From the player's side, yes.
He can move. He can play. I mean, all the reasons that you want to extend him are all the reasons why he said, "Well, I'll just wait the free agency."
Oh, totally. But there's also something to be said for a player to know you're going to be here for 10 years. And I think, and I've argued this not on Birdland today, but I've argued this here that if you do a package deal, if you can somehow get Gunnar under a deal and say, "Hey, Gunnar, we will give you this deal. We will give you this 12-year deal, and we will sign Jordan this 6-year deal. So you two are side by side." I think that helps bring this team together because they're close friends. Yeah. But I don't think Scott Boras lets Gunnar even see a piece of paper.
We need to get who was Bobby Witt's agent? We need to get that guy. Because last offseason, Bobby Witt signed the 11-year extension for $288 million. I mean,
he is with Octagon.
Okay. I mean, at some point, there's, I assume, an amount of money that Gunnar Henderson can't say no to.
Yeah. If Scott Boras lets Gunnar Henderson even see that number.
Yeah. But I think the number is more than $288 million what Bobby Witt got.
Well, I saw 280, 12 years is what I saw.
No. That's dumb, Josh. It's going to have to be maybe 380 for 12 years. After Bobby Witt got 11 for 288?
Yeah, let's see.
You're telling me Gunnar's going to take less than Bobby Witt? Zero chance.
Yeah. See, the Athletic has him projected at 12 years, 274.
I don't see that happening.
No, exactly. That's what I said. He wouldn't sign for that. But you're right. Maybe 325. Add another 50 on that. Maybe.
Or you know what would intrigue me? If I was on Scott Boras, the 12 years would not intrigue me because that means he's 23 now. That means 35.
Yeah, that's not a second big payday.
Right. Like, can you get me to be a free agent at 30? Right. And so now all of a sudden, let's talk about a 7-year extension, which gives me a few more years with the Orioles and also lets me get another free agent deal, assuming I'm at 30 and still playing well. So maybe that could be a more realistic pull than the 12 years. Though other players signed for 11, 12 years. Like young players do that. So
they do.
And if you're tired of making, how much is Gunnar Henderson making this year? Like 800,000 maybe. And if you're tired of not making $1 million, being one of the best players in baseball, like I could see it being tempted to say, screw this. Like I want my money.
Let's see. 800,000.
Oh, is that what it is? I call it.
Yeah, 800,000 he's making this year.
Can you imagine? You're one of the top 5 best players in baseball. You're making $800,000.
His career earnings up to now is $7 million.
Right. So
that's
you could
nothing.
say, "Hey, I could take your $7 million
and turn it into 300
million right now."
Exactly.
You want it,
right?
Oh, man, I'm glad I would do it. Like I would do it if I was Gunner. But I'm glad. That's why you need agents, because I would say, you want me to wait how many years? 5 years to make money? Get out of here.
And it's guaranteed money in baseball. It's like, you're going to give me $300 million no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll do it so you're still paying me $5 million a year till I'm 50.
Exactly. I don't even have to save money because you're going to be my savings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. These players have more self-control than I do.
I think the agents hide it from them.
Yeah.
You have to trust your agent because these numbers are so ridiculous and make no sense.
Yeah. And all guaranteed.
Yeah.
Thinking about one injury or something.
I know.
We've seen players, Josh. We've seen players time and time again who are good, and then
Chris Davis.
Yeah,
Chris Davis. We did it recently.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of examples. I mean, even Carlos Correa. I feel like his career has fallen off. Like maybe that's not fair because I don't follow the Twins often. But I remember pining for them to sign Carlos Correa. But I feel like since he signed with the Twins, he's kind of fallen off. And I feel like just players, that happens all the time, where players have a good year and then they just kind of, Trey Mancini, happened to Trey Mancini.
Albert Pujols, he got 10 years from the Angels, $240 million.
Yeah. But even before you sign a big contract, right? Like you have a good year or two and then you kind of fall off. And I'm not saying that.
Yeah. Prince Fielder. Prince Fielder did that. He signed 9 years, $214 million.
Hey, Prince Fielder was just in my Facebook page in my memories, saying, "I wish the Orioles would just sign Prince Fielder so I could get some rest around this place."
Well, I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah,
that's fine. It's not on my Facebook
we signed
memories.
Chris Davis instead, and it turned out a lot better for us.
That's fine. The guy I wanted was also a failure. The guy that I constantly called for the Orioles to sign long term, who ended up signing with the Angels for 5 years, and that was a bust.
Who's that?
Josh Hamilton.
Oh yeah.
So it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on some website now. Top 10 worst MLB contracts of all time. And I scroll down to see what number 1 is. Number 1 is Chris Davis. 7 years, 160.
Hey, my memory 13 years ago, I have two Facebook memories. One is just a quote tweet or a quote share of your Facebook post with tickets showing to the 2012 divisional round.
Okay.
At M&T Bank Stadium. That was a pretty good year for us, 2012.
Forgot that we got to go to that.
Yeah. And then, I guess 2013 is when we went to it would have been 2013.
Yeah, 13 is when we went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, even though it's 2012 season. And then my other Facebook message from that same day is Tebow time. So that's
hey, and congratulations, Tim Tebow announced his wife is pregnant today.
Oh wow!
There you go.
Tebow, 2012. I assume that's when he was with the Broncos, just in the playoffs. And shoot, that's a long time ago. 10 years ago. I guess that makes sense to get. Probably in his mid-30s. All right, congrats to Tim Tebow.
It's how the kids do it today.
Yeah,
he made his millions. Speaking of players that never worked out.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah, we reached the point where you are reading Facebook memories out loud. It's time to move on.
About Tim Tebow, I know we've gone too far. I was looking for my Prince Fielder memory, but I don't know how to look on a back. I don't know how to look on a different day.
I don't know how it works. But let's get out of here.
All right. I'm sure. Never mind. You could write us our first review, listener, of the 2025.
Yeah. And while you're at, leave a review for Birdland Today as well.
Promoting your other podcast, wearing this podcast. That's sick. It's sick.
Got to do them both.
And while you're at it, go to Mike O'Mara and leave a rating there too. Right, Josh?
Last time I looked, the last review did mention Section 336. If you leave a review for the Mike O'Mara Show or even Birdland Today, mention Section 336 in your review.
All right, guys, you can follow us on all your social media platforms, including X. I just followed the Michael Mara Show today on X.
I noticed.
You can follow me on X at Section336. You can follow Josh on X
at Josh Soroka.
Thanks for listening, boys and girls. And as always, go Ravens and go O's.